Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Logan Paul Mike Tyson fight. But right on, only because it's like I haven't seen Mike Tyson like out there do something in a long time, so it's gonna feel good. We will know it's scripted.
Well, Mike Tyson's a Broadway actor now. So.
Exactly.
Of course.
TKO just gonna pay to script the fight.
Honestly, I hope we get Chubby Emu to do the breakdown. God, what's the in engineering explain the punches? All right, so the glove, the 16 glove, Jake Paul's face is
as you can see, this is where he lost his left eye.
God, it's gonna be great. I'm excited for it.
It's his jaw wired shut for so he can't like speak for 6 months. That'll be heaven, right?
Honestly, like I also think like maybe Jake's gonna give the hands.
Okay.
He's got
gonna Buster Douglas it. Is that what he's gonna do?
He's got youth. He's got speed on his hands. Okay, all right. He doesn't have like the fight IQ that Tyson has from going through so many different fights.
I get that Mike's not his prime anymore. Because I remember watching him when I was younger, just tearing up people.
Yeah, 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
It's still like if I were to try to play golf against Jack Nicklaus. I think he's going to kick my ass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just say with Tiger Woods right now. Like he's gone through all those surgeries. He's got the. I still think Tiger Woods was destroy me in a game of golf.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the Jack Nicklaus clip I posted in the chat the other day?
No.
They were out doing some sort of competition, and the guy's like, I have to chip it from here. I can't make that putt. It's too far. And Jack Nicklaus goes like, what's the matter? Just putt it. And he's like, no, I can't. He's like, you want me to show you how to do it? He walks over and he throws his ball down next to the other guy's ball, gets up there, hits the putt. It goes like 80 fucking feet up this hill and around, and boom, hits in the hole. He just walks away. And everybody's just like,
yeah. When you understand like the difference between like pro versus semi-pro and amateur.
Pros are still pros. Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah,
like Floyd Mayweather, you could try to box him. He might not have boxed in like a year, but he's still a good boxer. He has the fundamentals and he knows what he needs to do to win.
There's a Valorant streamer. He's not like much of a player much anymore. He likes to set up little situations. So he's like, can a team of 5 golds take on one, the top level pro, right? Mm-hmm. So they have like 5v1s, and this guy destroys this one guy is just destroying these kids. It's hilarious to watch this stuff.
I mean, high in talent is high in talent. It's just how it is.
Yeah. There was that one time that Nice tried to fight us all 5v1 and Paladins. Him with 4 bots versus us, we destroyed him. So the key is to farm the bots to get money.
Yes, you have enough money to beat him.
But anyways, hello everybody, and welcome to a new exciting episode of Low Key on the We Are Libertarians Network. I am your host for this evening. My name is Harry, aka the Moving Target, and we have conversations backstage, and there are key holders get access to that exclusive content. It's amazing, awesome, and amazing stuff. But as you guys know, we have a great topic going tonight. We're going to reply to a Shoeonhead. We're going to do talking over a Shoeonhead video. We're not going to do like a massive reply because I'm not going to be here for like 6 hours laughing at every freaking joke and breaking things down. I don't have that type of time. Reinhold does. I don't. But like I said, let's introduce all the cast of characters here. Like Reinhold, let's go to Reinhold or say his name. Reinhold, say hi.
Hi, how are you doing? My day was going really kind of pretty good until someone made me watch one of the dumbest videos I've ever seen that we're going to now talk about. Thank you.
You're welcome. You'll love it. I thought you would love
Maybe
Shoeonhead.
watch this thing.
I thought you would love Shoeonhead.
I have a problem watching people who can't be on video and not make a complete sentence without the video cutting to the next bit. It's just constant. She can't make like two sentences without a cut.
Mm-hmm. Oh, because it's woke.
It's kind of off-putting.
Because it's woke.
It's not even. It's not. It's not even. I don't know how to explain it. It's like.
So it's one of those. I thought I had ADHD, and then you watch this video. It's like, maybe, maybe not.
It's hard. It's hard to get through. The jokes were not funny.
Wow.
She thinks she's funny. She's not.
Whoa.
I just did not really like the video. Let's put it that way.
Whoa. We'll come out the gate dropping.
I'm sure she's a nice person. I have no problem with her. I'm just saying.
All right, so we'll leave.
The cutting is just so out. I can't.
Casual boxy enjoyer, and then we'll go to Vincent. Hi, Vincent.
Hey, how's it going? I'm here. I enjoyed the video. I watched it when it came out.
Yeah.
But I also don't like She-Hulk. I don't think She-Hulk's funny. So I see where our level of our humors are. I don't think She-Hulk's funny. I think Shoeonhead is hilarious.
Yeah. I didn't think She-Hulk was funny either, but I think Shoeonhead is hilarious. Even for Bernie Socialist, she is funny.
What joke did she make that was funny in that whole video?
I like my steak well done. I like my steak. Congratulations. That's how.
God, that's a good one. Congratulations.
God, that's so good.
Yeah.
But as you can see,
That's
Harry,
almost as bad as a dad joke.
You and I found that funny. Reinhold's like, oh, that's stupid.
No, it's.
Why are we congratulating a steak?
It's in the middle of all the other jokes that just did not work, right? I mean, if that was an like a semi opener for a good bit, that'd be fine. But it's not. It wasn't. I don't know. I've watched too many comedians. I've seen too many funny. She was not to me.
Wow. Chrissy goes, there we go. Yeah. That Monday show, which is probably be the future name of the show. That Monday show.
Starting off with a Reinhold hot take, right?
Yep. Saying Shoeonhead's not funny. Okay. Wow.
Maybe there's another video that she's got that I could look at that might be funny, but it seems to me like she's trying to make a point that she's missing like 90% of what should be considered and talked about in that point to make her point. And it just doesn't land for me. Wow. It's like I can tear apart everything she was saying if I wanted to.
Now I kind of want to do is break down the whole
thing. That's hilarious.
Make call off work tomorrow. Now we're going every frame. Let's do this. This would be great. I'm gonna laugh. This is gonna be funny.
Yeah, it's gonna be hilarious. Like,
oh man, that's hilarious. No, all right, yeah, that is probably just a different generational humor that that you're not getting. You're not hip. You're not with it, okay? sorry, you're not hip and with it anymore. That's why you look at the jokes.
I have higher standards, I guess.
Here's the thing. Reinhold read that article when it came out.
Oh,
so
that's probably true.
That's what
that
it
is
was.
Also probably
it's like
true.
It's not funny because he lived through it. Yeah, he lived through it, so it's like, oh yeah, that's just true. Yeah, I don't know why it's funny.
Here's the thing. I appreciate that she was making fun of the 1958 article and making fun of the stupid woman that she chose as being representative of the culture, even though it's obviously someone who believes that women should not get married and should be living a single life because that's all she writes about. So she handpicked something that she could complain about on this side and something that in the 50s was actually there were issues in the 50s that she's not really picking up on. She talks about how there's high use of antidepressants among women today, but it was worse in the 50s. Everybody was on antidepressants back then. It was just normal. You just got them.
Yeah.
You know, it was like candy that they were giving them out. So there were a lot of issues. Yeah, there was a lot of issues on but it's not in. I don't. Everybody's like acting like this is all new stuff. This is stuff that's been a problem for the whole, experience of men and women not being, sold to each other for land and things like that, right? So as people started making their own decisions of who they wanted to be with, this has been a problem.
Yeah.
And she didn't address any possible solutions to the problem.
Her name is Shoeonhead, not.
What?
You wanted solutions. Wrong channel.
I thought, I've been having trouble trying to get something going on my thing because I wanted to be insightful and have meaning and everything else. I just turn the camera on and talk, and then take the video after I'm done with it and put it into an editor and just splice it up every sentence. So it looks like I'm jumping and creating a new video every sentence I make. And then I get 2 million followers, right?
Welcome to YouTube.
Yeah.
Huh? Welcome to YouTube.
Yeah. I've been overthinking this. I just
there
was some schlock out there and get a bunch of followers.
But also in my brain, right, I was like, she needs to give solutions, and I go, well, she did a video where she literally went through, guys, is it gay to wear seatbelts? Because that's an actual argument somebody posted on Twitter that it's gay to wear seatbelts.
Yeah.
And making a
that was hilarious.
So in my brain, it's like I see Red Hole like if this should be a serious discussion, she's gonna bring it up. In my head, it's just like, I mean, it was all a setup to talk about this silly list from the 1958.
Well, she was talking about the list from 58 and the woman, the crazy woman that she was referencing to as being representative of the advice that people or women are getting today. And it's just like, there's an issue and you're dancing around it, but you're missing it. You're not landing on it right. Yeah. And I think if she landed on it right, it would have been a much better video. Like, she didn't have to, she could have made that, you know what I'm saying? Made the points in a better way or something. I know it's supposed to be just for comedy, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the channel, so I don't know what the point is that she's trying to get on with. But if she's supposed to be funny, I think she was that funny. I really did not. I mean, she's like, here's what they said about this, and just laughing at that, not like making her own joke about it, really. I mean, she would make a comment, but it was just like, okay, it just didn't land for me. Sorry.
That's okay. It's that style of internet humor that is, it's not for you. Okay. Not for you. All right. It's for us, our generation, not for you. All right.
But again, everything is subjective for you.
Okay. Here's part of the problem too. Maybe I came into it looking for someone who was trying to make a point and having a little bit of jokes in, as opposed to someone who was trying to be funny and none of it was be taken seriously. Maybe it would landed different for me. I don't know, but maybe I was looking more like for something like a Lindsay Ellis or a ContraPoints, where they actually do some great research. They talk about very deep things and make jokes while they're doing it, but it's also, worth the time I'm spending watching it too, as opposed to the 20 minutes I'm not getting back for this one.
No, you're not getting those 20 minutes back. No, this is Shoe's not contra. Yes, Shoeonhead channel's not a ContraPoints. Not a ContraPoints video. No. That's why it's 20 minutes, not whatever.
2 hours.
Yeah. 2 hours.
The last one was 3 hours, and it took her 2 years to make. So, but it was good.
Several costume changes.
Right. But she also has different content for different sets of videos, because she has the Hell World series where she basically just goes over like, here's all the things that are headlines of things that have happened for the past 6 months, and how it's and just the dystopian aspect of, this thing that happened at this part of the country at this time. Yeah. So she has a different series where she's kind of just talks about how things are, but it's not. This was definitely meant to build towards the let's talk about this silly dating advice list and laugh at silly dating advice lists.
I guess it was like maybe she wanted to make those jokes and laugh at the list, but I feel like she tried to introduce it by talking about a subject that is actually something that's serious and there's a lot of misinformation out there about, and she was almost making fun of it.
All right, she does have several
situation.
different videos about what is it like the male loneliness problem and the female loneliness problem has gone on and actually made some slightly a little bit more serious videos about this, and she just gets ridiculed about it, and people told her to go shut up, basically telling her that she's wrong but proving that she's right.
Well, I mean, I could probably point out some flaws in the things that she had said in that little section, the lead up section, where she's trying to read from these these quotes and these figures and things like that. But if she was just doing it in order to get to the joke, I don't know if she needed to do it that way. Maybe I just felt like she was making light of an issue that really she could have talked about, but was almost like given backhand to, and not really having the right take on to begin with, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm saying.
But also, I can see it as more of like a connector thread because she did a lot of the male loneliness stuff, and then when she did it, she got absolutely lanced by just about everybody. It's like, how dare you talk about this? You're a woman. Why are you talking about male loneliness epidemic? This stuff isn't real, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So she did do a serious video about some of this stuff, but I could see her using it as a connection line.
Right. Maybe it's not. Maybe this wasn't the video to introduce me to her on.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not saying So I can check out her video, but I'm telling you right now, if her style is a cut at the end of every sentence, I'm not going to be able to watch that. That just drives me crazy.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a cut at every sentence.
I can't do that, man. That's
yeah. You maybe need to find you like a good shoe response video for you.
It's fine. Like that doesn't bother me because I've watched Philip Franco videos where it's second nature. It's like, oh yeah, whatever.
You're gonna send me to the Hassan reaction to it, where the empty chair is watching it.
The empty chair is watching it. Yeah. Hey, did you see his editor now? Like edits him back in like Ghostwriter. Like he gets
a
up
fake one that he puts over.
Gets up, shadow clone jutsu himself back in the chair. But no,
so here's the deal I'll make. I will check out another video of hers that I feel is more something I might want to watch, I guess.
No. If you're gonna struggle to watch something, watch Cowboy Bebop.
Well, I'm just saying.
No. You'd be like,
I'll give her another try. I'm not gonna put her on the never watch list again. I'll give her another try. I just may have hit this one, the wrong one hit me on the first one or something like that.
All right. Let me say some things that might help you with Shoeonhead. Leftist, okay, socialist, Bernie supporter. Does that help you?
Not at all. I don't like Bernie supporters. I'm not a Bernie guy. I don't understand that. Everybody thinks I'm this leftist. I'm not.
I know, right? I'm just doing it for the meme. It's funny. I find it funny.
No, but I'm just saying.
What?
No, I'm trying to think. Like Hassan, I'm not gonna watch him. Like,
God, no.
I don't want to talk about the guy, the one who shouldn't be named, who I did watch a little bit of and watched for a while. Starts with a V. I'm not going to say his name, but for reasons. But
yep.
I thought his videos were actually. I mean, I thought he was very good at coming off the top of his head with saying stuff and pulling facts out of thin air, but a lot of his conclusions were complete bullshit. You know what I mean? It's
have you watched the Doomer video about that guy? Doomer's video? Is he ironically evil? I'll send it to you. You'll love it.
Okay.
Doomer does a
The
great
real
job.
problem I have with him, the real problem I have with that guy is the kiddie porn stuff. So I'm not,
No, you're fine. It's fine. I'll send you the it's the ironically evil video, and you'll be like, "Oh my god, this is funny." Anyways, no, but some of the things like she did hit on is which I have seen, especially with being around a lot of younger women and stuff like that, or just younger people. It's like some of the loneliness on both sides of like the dating aspect, like the chasm of the when you talk to like anyone like they're actually out there, they're dating. It's just it seems like everybody wants most the same thing, but no one's really willing to budge into any territory to give any get a takes on it. And I think these last few videos she's done like this whole thing has done a great like just aspect of just showcasing it.
but I mean, do people think this is a new phenomenon?
No,
Okay.
no.
I didn't know if this
think
was like
I think it's
society
most people
today
too.
because
I think it's most people just seeing it as just worse. That's it. It's just I think the dating apps have just made it worse. They just help put the foot on the gas on a problem. They just kind of just enhance the problem. That's all it did.
Accelerated.
it also solved part of the problem too. I mean, it was harder.
Just it creates it
It's just
solved
different.
a
It's a little
problem,
bit
but it created a different problem.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but it's not like women really wanted guys coming up and hitting on them when I was a kid either. That's not a new thing. So I don't know.
Yeah. And I also understand that. And my response to the women is like, well, if the culture changed, you have to go back. Trust me, you'll understand the other direction. You just don't know. You just don't understand it. Like until you have to actually get up the courage to go ask somebody out, it's something you'll never get, never understand, especially if the culture pinpoints you as the person having to just do it.
Put yourself in a trad situation for a while and see how you feel. If you're not that type of person where you're not doing it because it's come from your religious viewpoint and you're just trying to do it to interact in the trad lifestyle or whatever, I think a lot of women would run screaming from that.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I think a
Say,
lot of guys
so much better now.
I think a lot of guys would run from that too. Like the actual the aspect of husbandry of a house freaking sucks. When you come down to it, it's like I gotta do what? F that. But that's no here nor there. But I think, yeah.
I think the big thing, the whole premise of the loneliness pandemic of a thing, with what happened with the pandemic that happened, that forced people to isolate and seclude themselves. After it happened, there's still a lot of people that lost the connections before that happened, that still haven't been able to build new ones out of it. And there's, while it is not a new thing that men have been lonely, women have been lonely, that's a thing that exists for a long time. It feels like a lot more that they're being ignored or not talked about nearly as much right now in comparison.
I could see that on the men's side. I mean, but it was never really talked about on the men's side. Men were just supposed to suck it up and be men. But
exactly.
On the women's side, we had Cosmo, we had all these magazines. How to get a man, how to make yourself more attractive to men, how to do this. That's always been out there for the women's side of things. Men didn't have that for a long time. Then Men's Health came around, and there were some places that I started talking about it. But so maybe it's just more awareness now than it was before.
That and a lot of like the men's dating things was also like done by like word of mouth, also into men's only spaces. The fewer far
it was all bad too.
It was not all bad. Some of it was, some of it was good. Some of it was like it's what you need. I think people focus on the bad because the TV shows and movies showcase the bad more often. Like, this is what they do in the locker room. Easy villain of the week,
Or just it's easy for guys to give other guys advice, but they don't follow their own. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's easy to tell someone, "Oh yeah, just do this," but they don't do that because it's not that easy, and it doesn't really work either sometimes. So it depends on what you're advising. And my whole thing about all of it is that until you like yourself, it doesn't really matter. You're going to have problems. And if you really want to not have problems, if you want to be able to find someone that's right for you and not like be attracted to the crazy person, which I had a problem with when I was younger. I was always attracted to crazy women, and it was just something that I had to come to terms with and realize it, because I was like, why are all the women crazy? And it was like, because I'm picking them because I was attracted to them.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That was me, not them.
And you kept dating in front of the asylum. Okay. You know, they get picked up.
So I stopped dating for like 10 years. Or not. Okay. I promised myself not to get into a serious relationship until I was ready to. And so I went out and dated. I mean, I wasn't celibate or whatever. Okay, but I didn't get into a serious relationship until I got to a point where I liked myself. And then I knew that the person I was attracted to and would be with would be someone who was right for me as a fully actualized person, as opposed to someone who was looking to fill holes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
While I completely agree with you, Reinhold, the environment that a lot of people grow up in now and their experience now with instant gratification and constantly comparing yourself to others through social media, because a lot of people are constantly on social media, it creates a vacuum of you want approval from others, because that's how you learn to love yourself, is because that's what you were taught from a young age, that these people like these YouTubers or influencers because people look at them and enjoy them. And then you start comparing your lives to other people's lives, thus creating a dynamic where people have a harder time figuring out how to love themselves comparative to when it was before, when you weren't, well, it was possible to compare yourself to other people. Now at the push of a button, a lot of people who are attached to these social media websites or are told early on or taught early on that's where you need to be to communicate and connect with people. It creates a void where you're constantly comparing yourself to others, putting yourself into a situation in which it's significantly harder for some people to find what makes them special, unique, or to like themselves when their best friends are doing a bunch of other stuff and it's all over everything they do.
Yeah.
You're describing what I grew up with, but it was just not through social media. It was through television and lifestyles of the rich and famous, and your people who are in your school looking down on you because they have better lives than you do, and mocking you and bullying you and that sort of thing, and the comparisons and the clicks and everything else that went on there. I mean,
I think the difference from that, Reinhold, is that it's constantly on someone's phone. You pick up your phone, it's always there. It's on Instagram. It's not like, well, just when I put this TV on, I can easily just switch the channel and do like this. But if it's on my entire social media feed, it affects people. It even affects people when they go to message people. We see a lot of people with the whole green bubble, blue bubble debate when it comes to iPhones. Like, your parents will buy you an iPhone. You want this iPhone because everyone else makes fun of you because you've got a green bubble. It's the same thing.
Or you don't have the right genes when you're going to school. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like there's always that thing. It just translates into different technologies or medium or whatever. It's still basically the same thing.
Yes,
right?
But it's a lot
human
easier.
beings in sociology work that way.
Right, but it was a lot easier then to find a space where you're not interacting with it. If it's on the television, you turn the television off. If it's at school, you go home and you don't interact with those people that were that you were dealing with at school. You have your small group of friends in your community that don't treat you like that. But now with the internet, and you are it's extended past being able to put it down for some people.
But it's easier to find the people who are like you than it was when I was growing up. I was very singular in my school as far as my personality and what things I liked and the nerdiness and everything else. I mean, I went to a small school, but it was mostly a farm school, so that was just a situation I had. But once I got the internet, once I started getting online in the late '80s, yes, I'm that old, and yes, that was in the early days of the internet.
I'm just going
That's when I
18
started
or
finding
19.
that's when I started finding my people though, and saying, okay, there are other people like me out here. I can mess with them. I can feel better about myself. It improved my life because of that. Whereas without that, I sat around just like thinking I was the wrong one. I was the one that was bad, that something was wrong with me, and trying to learn how to fit in and mask and do all those things that you'd have to do in order to make it through without, completely, I wasn't being my true self. Right.
If that's the case, then why do we have this loneliness crisis? If it's always been the same, so we just always just have this divide. Has the delta's just been growing that long since the 80s, or is it the same?
I think it's the
People are
same.
more
It's just
lonely.
we're talking about it now. I think we're more aware of it now. I think back then it was just suck it up, bud. I think people are more people are going to therapy, more people are realizing it. It's like a lot of things when you see like, oh, there's an explosion of trans people or there's an explosion of gay people or whatever. It's usually because people are finally starting to acknowledge what was already there. So the numbers look bigger. You know what I'm saying? It's awareness, and that's a good thing, that if we get more awareness of it, we can maybe help solve some of this problem. You're not going to ever solve it, I don't think, but I think you're going to be able to help a lot more people by letting them know that, hey, you're not alone. Hey, there are other people who feel the same way you do. Hey, this is a problem we should talk about and work on, and here's some possible solutions for you. Here's some tools you can use. Here's some therapy you can go to. Going to therapy was like a dirty word when I was growing up. You only went to therapy when you were messed up. You had to go to therapy, and you were mocked and ridiculed for it. So now that it's more acceptable, and I still see guys are like, yeah, you should never go to therapy. You should never go to therapy. You should be a man. It's like, we're human beings, and I can sit and try to reanalyze myself into being a better person and figuring my things out. But if I could talk to someone who's had some training and know a little bit about how things work and have some tools that they could provide for me to help me deal with that stuff, I short circuit years of fumbling and trying and maybe getting it wrong. I get the help to get there. That's what it is. It's not somebody fixing you. It's them giving you the tools and understanding to you to fix yourself.
Yeah. Well, the way we at least in the United States, the way we do therapy, I don't think therapy is right for everyone. I think if you do need it, you need it. And if you don't need it, you don't need it. I don't think everyone should have to go to therapy.
I don't think everybody needs it, but I think everybody should go at least once and talk.
And I'm also going to clip you out of context this video later when you said I'm just going to shorten it. So when you say trans people and gay people and there's something we need to solve, clipping you out of context, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing.
But
go viral.
Here's what I would say to that, Reinhold, is that I feel like your perspective is because it was a positive influence on your life. You're more willing to look at it in a positive light compared to the people who deal with being on social media and the negative aspects of it in comparison. So for you found your community online and you're able to find that niche and click and whatever. But let's say you're a 13-year-old kid and you get bullied at school and you come home and those bullies are now on your phone. In between you finding that community of people you want to interact with, they are going out of their way to bandwagon or create new accounts or go out of their way to bully you while you're at home, even in that space that you were trying to find as the safe place for you.
True, because back in the day, the bullies weren't on the internet; they weren't playing these games. Now they are. They have Fortnite accounts. They are sitting in the store. They could probably find you. They could bully you there while you're sitting there trying to game at home.
Yeah, but there's tools for that. You block people. You don't. If going on to social media is a bad experience for you, don't turn it off. I mean, I don't get.
That's an impossibility for a lot of these kids, especially in schools right now, because a lot of people, dear leader included, stuff like that. Most of the event space is all done by Facebook. most of the events from a lot of different schools. They don't do pages; they just do Facebook events. All the groups, the parents, all of it, all scheduled through Facebook.
Create an account, you go on Facebook, you don't friend anybody, you just go to those events, and that's all you
Then
do. You don't get bullied that
then
way.
you've got to know someone to let you into the accounts because you've got to have the reputation because they don't want other people outside the community, inside the accounts. So it's hard. It's very difficult nowadays. It's really difficult.
Social media is basically integrated into schools. I mean, kids get MacBooks when they go to school, or like Chromebooks, not
Yeah,
MacBooks.
Chromebooks.
They get Chromebooks when they go to school. The school gives them the technology to interact, and they're much more linked into it. So being able to find your escape in it, that's possible. But a lot of these kids can't get off social media because of the interconnectivity, or hey, I have a friend that goes to this school that's on the other side of the city, so I have to use the Facebook because that's the only thing that their parents let them use. So
Correct.
we're both using Facebook, and then somebody who's friends with that person who hates me sees that I'm friends with them, and they bully me, or they start making accounts to bully me, etc., etc. It's becomes, you can't turn off the social interaction from school. Being bullied for being poor, or what, or wearing different things, or being weird compared to what the bullies think you should be, you can't turn it off.
Yeah.
It's always there now.
Yeah, and then when it comes to like a lot of different dating advice, I think like pull it back to the dating
Mhm.
aspect of it is the different sliders and stuff like that women have inside of the dating apps versus the men. Like a lot of the women has the ability to slide out and like just particularly excuse every man that's under 5'10". Just go, nope, 5'10". I'm not looking at you. It's an outrageous aspect if they put this inside the application. It has nothing to do with a long-term partner, has nothing to do with what you'll be in love and what this person's earning potential. It's just simple like I don't care. I don't want someone under 5'10". And it's
But if you were a guy, would you want someone who is that shallow? I mean, aren't they putting themselves in their own problem at that point, because they're basically keeping themselves from, they're showing their own shallowness to
see that
you when they
Yeah,
see that. You know what I'm saying?
counterpoint, Reinhold. If you're a man who hasn't been able to find a date in 6 years, would you care? For you, yes. Some men, they don't.
yeah.
She might be shallow, but I still get to see her and experience dating because I haven't had that in so long that I'm lonely enough that I don't care that she's shallow.
Yeah. And a lot of the things that we've shown is like, yeah, if you're giving the choice of the menu, they're going to, a lot of people just do depict this. Do they view themselves as shallow for wanting guys who are 5'10" and higher? No, no one views themselves as shallow and viewing it that way. Just like most guys don't view themselves as shallow if they want some woman that's under 200 pounds. They're not going to view themselves as shallow. They're just like, this is what I want. Sorry, let me be realistic. They'll say something stupid like 100 pounds, but
So
they don't view
give you an
themselves as shallow.
example. I can give you an example of today.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
somebody I
You're
know
on
who's
Grindr.
going through dating, and they're like complaining that they can't get a date, they can't find anybody. But when you try to say, "Hey, here's somebody I know," and try to fix them up, or you try to introduce them to people, or say, "What
Mhm.
about this person?" Like, uh, she's she's not the right type. She's not thin enough, or she's not this enough, or not that enough. And it's just like, dude, you're complaining that you're not getting anybody paying attention to you.
Mhm.
Maybe you're looking for superficial things, as opposed to trying to find somebody who you connect with on an emotional level.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yes.
Maybe you should rethink what you're doing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
Yes, but that's on both sides for everybody. And
No, I agree. Yeah, women do the same. It's a human thing. It's not a man
Mhm.
or female thing. You know.
when you create dating apps that are specifically meant to be shallow,
Yeah.
that's where you run into the mindset of let's say you go into the dating pool and you're feeling that you're open, you want to do whatever, and then you get no bites,
Mhm.
and then you have to start changing your parameters to make things so you might fit into what somebody else would want, and then you're now creating this weird amalgamation of your traits that are both exaggerated and under exaggerated just to get a date.
But
And at what point does that
people can
become
still get
catfishing?
dates without dating apps, can't they?
Yes,
For
but
some
it's
people,
I mean, is
they
this
but it's
can.
not
harder.
possible?
It's possible, but it's also more difficult right now. The aspect of the world we that like because a lot of people used to find dates by people that they work with, but most HR departments and most policies now like no fraternization inside of work hours. These are people you spend probably 8 hours a day. Heck no dating at work. It's a lot of different companies' rules right now. Then the other one is where do people go like by school, but a lot of the dating app advice people are told by like hey someone's here to learn, stop trying to date, so don't do that, so it's like, so when exactly am I supposed to ask you supposed to ask somebody out in public? They're out food shopping, I see someone I like, do I ask them out there? No, I don't bother them, I'm out food shopping. It's like, do I
Or
wait for them to have the looking for group signal floating above their head? Unless our culture goes to, I'm going to put a flower on my shoulders to say I'm ready to meet someone and please talk to me and have some actual, like I know so like autistic world that we'd have to live in to like pin something to ourselves and say like, yes, we're willing to talk to somebody, but most people aren't. They're like, there's so
I
many different
disagree.
people I've
I
been nice to. They assume I'm hitting on them, but no, I just make small talk and nice to people when I talk out to people.
all right. Here's the thing. I went to therapy for some things a while back, and it wasn't that long ago. Right. I'm talking
It was Freud, right?
like 10 years ago, maybe. And I was going through a thing and I was having some issues, and I was like, okay, I want to get over some of this social anxiety that I have. I want to there's things I really wanted to work on. And the guy said to me something that I thought was very profound, was that just go up and talk to people, because 9 times out of 10, that person's waiting for somebody to talk to them because they're sitting there lonely too.
Mm-hmm.
And no, you're going to get the people who are just like, hey, leave me alone. I don't want to be hit on. Hey, leave me alone. I don't want. And it wasn't going up and talking to them to hit on them. It was going up and talking to them just to have a conversation.
Yeah.
To say, hey, and so he was like, okay, try doing it. Go out, the 2 or 3 nights a week, and you make yourself to have conversations with people. And if I found out that it actually is very easy to do, because most people will just talk to you. If you're not approaching them to hit on them, if you're approaching them just to have a conversation, if you lean over and just say something, and most people will just start talking back to you, and you can have a conversation with them. And my opinion is that you're better off finding people who you have good conversations with, and then go, maybe this is somebody I'd want to date. You get the relationship first, where you get the friendship first. Then you decide you want to date them after that. But then it's not as hard. You just talk to them and say, hey, maybe we got to dinner. And then you see where it goes from there. But it doesn't feel predatory at that point to the women. And I mean, I talked to men and women. I was just making conversations with anybody.
All right.
But
right on.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. Trust me.
Yeah.
You can ask everybody. I go out, I just talk to people because I don't hit on people because I'm in a long-term relationship.
Right.
I just talk to people, right? A lot of people don't know I'm in a long-term relationship. Some people assume I'm hitting on them, but in reality, I'm just talking because I can't just sit here and be quiet.
Right.
I hate it. I hate the quiet.
And there are going to be people who take it the wrong way, and they're going to shut you down and say bad, but most won't.
But yeah, most won't, right? For conversations. But if you're actually actively looking to go out on dates, to marry, right? That piece of advice don't work for crap. But you're saying just talk to people.
That's my point. Because
you just said don't go to the aspect of like hit, but then we also get hit. Men get hit the aspect of like, well, you need to be. You say like be friends with them. Well, don't hit on your friends. We get hit with that all. That piece of advice is from a generation. Don't. Why are you shaking your head? This is what happens. Like, obviously you're not viewing some of these women. They'll talk about like, one of my friends hit on me. I'm like, yeah, because that was. it's what happens. It's like I was afraid to hit on a lot of my female friends with when it comes down to it, because I liked them and I enjoyed them and wanted to date them, but like I didn't want to risk our friendship that we had because I've always been told don't do this.
But you can suss that out. It's not like you can tell whether someone is your friend or someone likes you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, you say that, but there are so many times where I've had female friends who are talking about they had this guy friend who's been a friend with them for so long, and then out of the blue he starts flirting with her. So her immediate thought was, he's only my friend to get in my pants, and then they end the friendship.
Right.
And that becomes a whole thing of I became a friend with somebody, and then I eventually built feelings because even though we were friends, I built feelings later on. And when I express it, they go, he was just trying to get in my pants from the beginning.
Right.
So that friendship is gone now.
Yeah.
And for you, that's like, oh, that's whatever.
It wasn't much of a friendship at that point.
Here's the thing.
You say that, but a lot of guys they build those relationships over time. Like when I first started being friends with my current wife, we were friends for the longest time, and our first date was a joke, but we end up having feelings for each other, and here we are. Yes, it does freaking happen.
It happens. Everybody most of the people I know who have good, healthy relationships started that way. They started as friends and it developed into something more, but it wasn't one-sided. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you start flirting with your friend, you will know instantly on the first kind of half flirt or whatever, whether she's receptive and flirting back. Right.
Okay. So
and you stop the minute.
Sometimes what if the guy doesn't get that social cue? Because if it's not obvious to the person.
Well, they could also just ask him and talk to him about it.
But then that also creates the dynamic of, the reason he's friends with me is because he wants to date me. Thus, I don't want to be friends with him anymore.
Right, but that's the problem, though. If you don't say anything, then you're sitting there holding feelings for this person. How can you have a friendship with that person? A long-term friendship, like that friendship's going to end because there's an imbalance in the friendship at that point.
Right. So then you got the idea that you can sit there, you've got these feelings, you don't know if the other person has it, so you can risk the friendship for a possible relationship with this person. So you have to go out on this limb to take this risk. You take the risk, friendship gone. Now you're alone. Or do you just want a friend?
You have just one friend? You don't. You
Some guys do only have one friend. Rhino, how many friends do you meet up with every day? How many friends besides your wife did you see in the last 2 weeks? IRL.
IRL.
Number. Give me a number.
First of all, I'm almost 60.
I want a freaking number.
Because I don't leave my house.
All right, cool. Vincent, how many friends have you seen IRL in the last 2 weeks?
I haven't been out of my house in 2 weeks.
More, but I was sick for one of those.
All right, so he's at 3. All right. So,
but I'm telling you, when I was in my 30s, I was going out all the time. I had all kinds of friends. I had a group of people. We used to hang out all the time.
It's a different world. There were more places to do that there. You had malls and stuff like that to hang out at and do things like that.
Go to a bar. I think they still have bars.
Yes, they still have bars, but we got a huge generation of kids who don't drink. Vincent doesn't drink. Why would he go to a bar?
You don't have to drink alcohol at a bar. They have non-alcoholic beverages at a bar.
And the bar will go bust with somebody just drinking sodas.
No, they don't. They actually have, you can say you're a designated driver and you actually get drinks for free most of the time.
Yeah, but if a bar's full of nothing but designated drivers, what happens to the bar? Same thing that happens most of the lesbian bars.
They still charge, they still charge, how much do they charge for a Coke at a bar? $5?
Yeah.
You think they're going out of business selling $5 for a watered down little Coke?
It's also, again, it's completely different. Like as we've, like, I'm 30. I have internet friends, and I have 3 IRL friends that I see weekly, roughly. Sometimes more people randomly show up, sometimes they don't, but it's usually 3 people, and that's just my group of community that I have right now.
Yeah.
But So if, let's say, we have a fourth person that joined this group that was a woman that became a friend with this group of people, and I try to flirt with them and they're not receptive, or they assume that I only became friends with them to sleep with them,
Mm-hmm.
that will create a massive fracture in the small friend group I already have.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I think there's some fear of things that I don't know how to
Fear of
explain
what?
this, how to say this. Like, you think that's going to happen, so that's like you're putting out the worst case scenario, and it's affecting how you handle the situation, right? A lot, and maybe it's me. Maybe when I was younger, I've been told I was a good looking guy. I hardly ever hit on women. They usually hit on me. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
let's go.
So you don't have
But
this experience.
No, I have hit on. There was a person I dated, I was friends with. We ended up moving to the same apartment complex together. Had apartments down the hall from each other. We were good friends,
Mhm.
and we flirted a few times, but it never got anywhere because I don't think she was that into me because I was not a specific, maybe, pigment of skin that she was more attracted to. Okay,
Mhm.
but we still remained friends because it was never like, it was never that kind of a situation where I knew where I stood all the time because I understood what she was telling me and how she was responding to me and the flirting and not flirting. Sometimes
All right, Reinhold. At that time, how many potential romantic partners did you have at that time when you flirted with that friend?
6, maybe 7. I don't know.
That's my point.
I
So,
also had an arranged friendship. That's
so
I think everybody should get, but that's another story.
So now imagine you're in that same situation, and the only possible romantic interest you have is this friend that is basically your closest friend.
Yep.
Like that girl that you flirted with back and forth.
But why
She's
would
your
you put
only
yourself?
possible romantic interest.
If this is this much of a concern, why are you limiting yourself to that?
What's to say that that wasn't just their best option at that point? Or if they're trying to date other places and they can't get a date any
Again,
other place.
don't go out to find dates. Go out and find women to spend time with and hang out with. One of them may be receptive to you. Others may just be friends. It's not an either or situation. You go out and meet people and you find out more about what you're interested in. You're not locked in. Like, if you get locked in on one person, you're going to fixate on that person, and they may not be the right one for you, but you ignore a lot of the flaws because you think that's your only chance. You can't go that way either. You've got to be, kind of looking, if this is what you're trying to do, you spend the time, go out and cultivate relationships with a lot of people,
So I
and
need to have
find the
this
right one.
massive women friend group, right? This is 10 women deep friend group,
I
right?
did. I don't know. I did that. I don't know what.
Right, but you
I guess
also
I'm
openly stated that you were, in your opinion, you were, from what you understand, you were an attractive man at that point in time.
not in my
Correct?
opinion. I've been told that.
That same difference, same difference, whatever. But that put it that point.
But here's the thing. I'll say what I did was I hung out with people who also hung out. Like, I used to hang out with musicians a lot. Right. I became friends with musicians. Musicians had a lot of other people they talk to. You get into that circle, you meet a lot of different people. You have contacts through that method, right? That's how I was at that point in my time. And I met a lot of different people that way. I had a lot of different relationships, and then I had work friends who had friends and everything else, and that sort of thing. We used to go out and hang out all the time too, and from there, I was able to, meet a lot of different people, I guess is what I'm saying. And so I had I've not always been the hermit that I am now. You know what I'm saying?
We
Right, but
understand
you
that. We get
you were
that.
extroverted. That's
Mhm,
the thing. You were massively
Yeah.
extroverted
mhm,
based
And
on
I
how
was
you're
forcing
depicted.
myself to do it because I wasn't normally, I grew up not that way. I was very awkward, very socially awkward until I started going to therapy and thinking about it. I was very socially awkward until I got into a situation where I had a relationship with someone where we were friends
mhm.
with benefits, as you would say.
Mm,
And we had an arrangement for several years.
mhm.
And that type of relationship to me was very teaching. I learned a lot
You got
about
feelings.
relationship with women, how women think, because I could have conversations and say things because we were just friends that you wouldn't normally do if you're like trying to date someone.
Mhm,
Say, like, well, what's this? Or why'd you say that? Or do you like this? Or do you, that sort of thing. You end up learning a lot
mhm.
in that situation. And I think that's for me, maybe that was just something to help me that maybe not everybody has access to, I guess. But
Well,
um,
No,
that's a
absolutely. But
also a discussion. There's a lot of people who aren't very honest with their sexual partners in general.
that's a completely other
That's
thing.
completely just discussion. Some people aren't
right.
freaking honest
But
about it.
okay, so there wasn't just the sexual stuff though, but it was there was that.
Okay,
But
yeah.
Mhm.
Of the people
I
who
learned I
aren't
learned a
honest,
lot about that aspect. Let me tell you, but I
yeah.
also learned a lot about what women think about, and because she was actually still going out and trying to date people, her
Mhm,
her thought process was she wanted to know that when she went out looking for a guy, that she would not let herself go home with them because she
mhm,
knew she could come and hang out with me,
mhm,
right?
yeah.
So that situation, so I learned a lot about you know what they're looking at and what they're looking for and that sort of thing.
Okay,
So
so there's a couple things based on that, right?
mhm.
Uh, there is the fact that you're in a very unique situation that is highly unlikely. That is something that out of all the people I know and been around personally for my life, I've never seen that be a thing, especially for a long term, is the way that you describe it. You also There are also people that are introverts that get socially drained by being out and around all these people all the time. So yeah, they might be socially awkward, but trying to go do this all the time is going to cause them to be depressed and have their own issues because they don't feed off people. They feed on being by themselves, which is a thing. That's how some introverts work. Like I literally take a day of the week off where I don't talk to people because that's how I recharge my batteries personally.
Well, I
But
understand that.
yeah,
Because I am that person too. I would rather.
now.
So there's an aspect of ADHD where I can be extroverted and um, mask and be able to talk to just about anybody about anything because that's part of the ADHD thing. You learn a lot about a lot of different things because that's just how you are. But then I have to recharge for a week or two and not see anybody or talk to anybody because I expend my limited social battery by doing that. Right. So I understand that part of it. What I'm saying is that if this is a priority for someone, there's things you can do. There's work you can put in. This isn't necessarily going to be easy,
Mhm,
but it's something that you can go out and you give yourself the best chance by expanding your circle of people that you're wanting to hang out with and date and things like that, and you just
mhm.
go through that process. I mean,
All right.
there's no easy fix to it, is what I'm
Okay.
saying.
What if you're unconventionally attractive? Like that you're something that some people will not find attractive. And you try to do that, and let's say I go talk to a woman to be a friend, right? Because that's just I'm just randomly talking to her, and then me being unconventionally attractive, she goes, "No, gross," and walks away. And that happens to somebody 10 times in a row. At what point do they just go not at what point do they realize, like, how many times do they have to be rejected until they're emotionally stunted to the point where they don't care anymore? Because that is the other aspect of it, of that some of these people that are lonely don't fit into a conventionally attractive mold that can just randomly walk up to somebody and talk to them. Like compare like Harry randomly going up and talking to people is much easier because he's more conventionally attractive than some other people. That is a true statement. He could say that we could joke around, but it's a true statement. But so him randomly talking to people and getting in conversations, they're not as weirded out compared to somebody who is like if I were to do it, it probably wouldn't get this nearly the same results. Just because of the different the massive gap in some of the aspects of it. I'm not saying that it wouldn't work. It can be a thing that if I did it 100 times, I could probably get 5 people to do it.
Okay, first of all, let's stop that shit right now. You talk to 100 people, 5 people respond back to you. Come on,
it depends on the
no. You're being overly negative on yourself, and that's part of the problem. I'm telling you right now. People like confidence. You got to have confidence, right? You're not horridly ugly as a person. I'm telling you right now.
Fucking
stop it. I'm seriously. I hear this stuff and it just irritates me. You know, because it's like a self-perpetuating problem, in my opinion. You know what I mean? It's
fucking Scouja in the chat.
Scouja says this motherfucker is that trying to date in 2023. Probably. Yeah. But no, I agree with Reinhold. Yeah, stop that. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, your brain. I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, we know. Yeah. This is more advice for everybody. More advice for people at home. Yeah. Don't call yourself ugly. Your brain doesn't know you're messing with yourself. Your brain doesn't understand this. You say this to yourself. You're going to do this. Smile. Understand. Have confidence in yourself. Get a skin routine. Okay, it's very simple. You know.
Yeah, if there's things people can do to make themselves more conventionally attractive,
but Reinhold, I also know that number was low. It was an exaggerated number of low
Sarah V.
as a joke.
But what I'm saying is, I'll say you talk to 100 people. Let's say I'll tell you right now, if you talk to 10 people, 7 of them will respond back in a cordial manner, right?
Mm-hmm.
They might not say, "Oh, the best friend I've been looking for my whole life," or anything, but they'll respond back with a little joke or talk or something like that. I've done it. I was the other day sitting there talking to a guy at the gas station, the guy behind the counter, and we started talking. And I talked to him for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
because you can do that. It's people are open to kind of having basic little conversations sometimes because a lot of people don't know how to do it either, and they're like, it's really great. Somebody's trying to talk to me. I can talk to them. This is cool. It's not like everybody's got their shit together, but you know what I'm saying? So if you go out and talk to 10 people and 7 of them respond back cordially, and you end up hitting it off with 2 or 3 of them as, we can get along. We talk to each other. We have similar interests. We can hang out. You do that enough times. And then you've got a group of people that that you can kind of talk to, and you can start thinking about, well, do I want to spend more time with these people? Do any of them show any interest in me? That sort of thing. You can usually tell if a woman has some interest in you or not. There's a certain person in the chat right now that had a woman that was throwing himself at him, and he ran away from it.
Well, first off, we don't talk about that certain person in the chat. Okay, all right, that's like, but we don't do that.
Oh, he's talking about me.
We just point and laugh, okay? But no,
that's the thing, though, is that you can. Women will usually give you the cue. I mean, I hate it. I hate this fact. The reality of it is that you have to start learning how to read people's cues, because I think people should just be honest with each other and just talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the reality of the situation. People don't know how to do that. They don't feel comfortable doing that. But you can tell. If you talk to enough people, you start to notice the ones who are kind of giving you the signals that they are interested.
Right. That's why there's the meme of like, I don't know if she's attracted to me, and it's literally the woman naked in the bedroom. It's like, I don't know if she's really into me or not.
Yeah.
that's a whole thing.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's also it's
Hey, I talked to a lot of people, and I know it took me a while to really understand if someone was hitting on me or not. Took my wife pointing it out to me and other people around me to
Oh,
point that crap out of me. And I talked to
I'll give
hundreds of
you a
people.
perfect.
I do, and I will say, when out talking to people, with guys, it's a lot easier to have a conversation with. Women, I have to get over this hurdle when I start talking to them. Eventually, they're going to assume I'm hitting on them, and I'm just kind of waiting for that hurdle to start. And so they go like, I have a husband, I have a boyfriend, blah 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 blah. I'm waiting for that to happen to tell me like, hey, if you're coming over here to hit on me, I'm not interested. And then and I hit him with the stun log, like, boom, here's my wife, here's my kid. That's awesome. Anyway, you continue the conversation.
My wedding ring,
Yeah.
But yeah, I have
He's
I have a
one of
perfect example. I was going out with this friend of mine who I've talked about. Her friend had just broken up with her boyfriend or whatever,
Mhm.
and so we went out drinking one night.
Mhm.
After that,
Threesome
and
right home.
we're talking
right home.
we're talking about like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour at a bar. She gets up to go to the bathroom. My friend turns to me and says, "Does she have to throw herself at you? What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, I just didn't think about it. It was just I wasn't paying attention. So
So,
that
so it sounds like Reinhold literally had a woman there that was like, "Hey, here are all these signals that women are giving you all the time." So that's the only reason you're able to constantly pick up on signals, because somebody literally pointed out all these signals to you because you were fuck buddies, and she was like, "Well, I mean, here's the signal that she's giving you," and explaining that to you.
no, she never did that. She just said, "Hey, she's stupid. She's into you. Go talk to her." That's all. She didn't say, "Oh, here's what she's doing" or whatever like that. So, but I started learning just on my own for that sort of thing.
Women make the best wingman, going out,
Oh, yeah.
hooking people up. They make
Definitely.
sense.
That's what you do. You find a woman who you have no sexual interest in,
Mhm.
but you get along with great, and she has no sexual interest in you, and you get along great. Be friends with
Mhm.
ask her if she will help you take go be a wingman, or go be show me what I'm doing wrong. What do you see? From a woman's point of view, what's going on here? You can have those conversations with them.
Yep.
That's where you learn stuff like that.
Yeah, it also gets you past that creep factor, because women won't hang out with other creeps. That's the big awful label that get placed on guys if you're a creep or dangerous. And if you're with another woman, hey, you're not creepy, you're not dangerous, because if you were, this woman would be next to you. So it helps you get past that. Okay, someone has the best friend. He's basically your reference paper.
Yeah, he's been vouched for. He's okay.
Yeah.
That helps too. I mean, seriously, there's a lot of things,
Yeah. Yes. SKL just says, "Wow, hard not to be an ace pilot when your woman points out every zero in the sky." Okay. Like I said,
I think maybe I should make a project.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying?
like there's that.
know?
Yeah, you can easily
Harry
do
knows what
that,
I'm saying.
about however you want to go about it. But there's also that, again, there's a bunch of other aspects to it, like because how many people are terminally online and how much online stuff is massively important, and that they're even. I also know that a lot of people that even if you meet them in person, they'll try to cross-reference you on social media and see where you stand on social media, and that becomes their barometer if they still want to talk to you or be friends with you, etc. That's just another aspect of it, because social media, it being such an ever-present thing, if you want to go on a date with somebody and they see that you're this thing.
80%. 80% of the women, 80% of OSET people are women. So be very careful. If they do their open source intelligence gathering, they will find you.
Fucking Paul.
Scholar, I'm not terminally online. I quit the moment right home. Oh my god. Okay. All right.
You're gonna have trouble, because I am actually quitting smoking.
Yeah, there you go.
I've cut in half how much I smoke now in just
Nice.
2 days.
Nice
So
stuff.
by next week or two, I probably won't be smoking at all.
Then it'll just be a performance prop.
Well,
don't go
my
vape.
my main
Don't go
problem with
vape, bro.
smoking
Don't go vape,
is
bro.
that it's that thing to do with my hands.
He's
It's a
so
nervous
gonna
tick
vape.
thing. So I just need something else. And no, I'm not vaping. I tried that once a few years and years ago. I just know I didn't want him to do
You ever
it.
seen
Rhino.
Bunkaroo? The movie Bunkaroo?
No.
All right. The cowboy always smoked. He just had like a stick. He would just roll in his hand and suck out of.
I spent
Trying to quit
yesterday for like 3 hours while I was doing meetings with just an unlit cigarette in my hand.
Nice.
Just because it was just what comfortable. I think it's the act of lighting it. Like I could light a cigarette, put it down, and then I'd be fine. It's just the act of lighting it. It's my thing.
Just get you a Churchill cigar then.
Oh, I used to do cigars, but I don't know. I'm to the point now where I just want something to handle the oral fixation, but that's another story.
All right, it's fine. I can put some else on your desk for you too. We get our new sponsor, Adam and Eve. Oh, sorry.
but yeah, no, it's just the
one thing you were saying
aspect that affects the physical world is just the other aspect of it, of social media being so ever present that it creates another layer to the dynamic of meeting people. Because like I can talk to a person one time and then as an example, because I don't use Facebook or Twitter, I don't even really use social media in general. But let's say I meet somebody and I meet them one time and we change phone numbers and we talk, and then they find me on social media and they go, "Oh, well, you like this one thing that I don't really like, so I'm not going to talk to you anymore because you liked the end of Game of Thrones because whatever reason,
Okay.
as an exaggeration." But that,
but as an exaggeration, good. Right? If somebody's going to be like that, you don't want them as your friend.
I don't know.
I have difference of opinions on things with you guys, and I'm still hang out and talk to you. It's not.
I did a lot of things with my wife, and I looked over a few things. Didn't watch Blazing Saddles, Goonies, Princess Bride. I just looked over those things. Okay. Look at Right Host like, oh. So you gotta look over things, right? You gotta let those things go.
But like just as a general exaggeration of there's way more information about people online now
because people
than there ever was. Yeah, exactly.
You put it online. You don't have to put that stuff online. You can scrub your social media.
I also agree, but you also weren't raised in a society in which it's the social norm to put everything on social media. It's the norm to do it. If you don't put it on social media, you're the weird one. You're the weird one. Mm-hmm. Why are you not using Instagram? Why are you not using Facebook? Why are you not using Twitter? You're the weird one.
Yep.
I've always been the weird one though. And it's okay.
Yes. But you're also, that's the other issue, is that a lot of it is you're comparing with your own personal experience, which is so different than almost anybody else because of the things you've been through and the things you lived in and the experiences you experience, that most random person isn't going to go, well, I hung out with all these musicians and hung out with all their friends because they were musician friends, and I ended up meeting all these people through these musician friends, because not everybody's going to have that experience. So some of the other,
check your musician privilege.
Yes, it's not that hard. You hang out with the musicians.
Get a guitar.
You buy them a drink. They'll talk to you.
Learn a few chords. So
I don't know.
Right, but again, that's the saying is that like that now time of how important the digital aspect of it is for a lot of people, and the normality of use social media for everything because that's important, is completely different than what it was beforehand. Before social media was literally in your, like, talking to everybody was literally in your pocket,
right?
And some people you don't even really know that much.
Yeah,
but it's that does create a different environment for certain aspects of
I,
it.
I understand it creates a different environment, but it also, like we said before, it also fixes some of the problems that were before. So it's just a different
Yeah.
set of problems to deal with. They're not insurmountable. They're not things
No.
that are going to prevent you from experiencing and having, good relationships and all stuff.
Correct.
I think some people use as an excuse.
Yeah. Then there's also like the fresh and demonetized and the Andrew Fakes out there in the world has created this generation of guys who make women just also distrust guys because they've got this idea of this is how a man should act, and they've also poisoned the well on a lot of guys. Especially if you're into different aspects.
Those guys were around when I was growing up too.
Yeah.
They had seminars. They would tell people how to nag and things like. It was just like those people existed.
Now think about if those people were on national television every night.
Or president. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay.
Yeah. In comparison,
Yeah.
because those people did exist, but they didn't get boom to millions of people every day.
That is so. So this is one problem I do have with the internet, and it is that it gives audience to people who would normally not ever have one. So it does give, like, I can find my people and I can hang out with them and get to know them, but it also gives people who are problems, gives them a group of people to hang out with too, and becomes more important than they should be or should be given.
Right. And then you also have the other aspect of you're finding a community, but you end up finding the wrong community, thinking it's the right community. And it leads you to completely, it worsens a lot of people's
because they have those little,
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, because they have those little sprinkles of truth, like, oh, work on yourself, do this, because those, and then go into this is like, no, this is not how you treat women. This is how you treat a human being in general. It's not how you treat a dog. Okay.
It's how you treat humans.
Yeah.
As an entity.
Yeah.
Or they try to teach you some weird form of Jungian philosophy that, what I'm talking about.
That's okay. My way was hitting on women was to just stare them right in the eyes, and when they look back at you, say hi. You start talking. That's my favorite move. That's my move. Called it the gawk.
Says that even though he probably hasn't hit on a woman in 20 years.
How correct you are. Hey, it worked in high school, okay?
Because nobody knew shit in high school, bro. But yeah, that's the other element of it, because like bringing in that digital aspect of it and creating, well, you find you end up finding the wrong community, think it's the right community, and it creates even more divide and more people having issues because it's creating a different level of trust between people across different things because this negative community exists.
I think we are exacerbating that issue. And exactly. I think we're and that is a problem that I like to see fixed, but I think it's just going to take people who know that that's wrong just calling it out over and over and over again finally, and finding a way to reach some of these people who are lost and they're looking for something and they stumble into that. It's the same with the alt-right and stuff like that, where people kind of get sucked into that area. They're not starting out that way. They just kind of go, this and this, and then these guys are like, no, come here. They treat them better than the other people are treating them, and they just start sucking into that side.
Right.
So there's
there's a whole other aspect of it, of the concept of the reason a lot of the male loneliness stuff and a lot of reason they're willing to fall into that hole over there is because the quote unquote left, or like the progressive part of it, is very much ignores men entirely unless they are willing to basically be subservient and or completely disassociate who they are. A lot of times there's a lot of rhetoric of they have to do it this particular way and not be themselves.
I don't agree, but maybe you can explain to me what you're talking about, because I do hang out in those circles. I hang out on both sides. I hang out on both sides,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
So I hang out with people on the left, and I think you're seeing a stereotype of a small percentage of the people you're talking about, but I don't think the majority of them feel that way.
I mean, that's probably true. That there is probably a minority that's louder than the majority of people. But I've definitely seen rhetoric of they're talking down to men as if
Mhm.
they're lesser than in these environments, and
Yeah, and a
that
lot of times
thus
it's an
pushing them
overreaction.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an overreaction to what they've
Mhm.
had to deal with, and
Mhm.
there are people in that have fallen into that camp, just like there are guys who have fallen into the incel camp or whatever you want to
Hmm.
call it, or the
Yeah.
Andrew Tates or whatever. The that's happening on both sides, but the majority of people, I don't
God.
think.
The
But they're going to be quiet. They're not going to be the ones making the noise. You're not going to know about
Right.
them. But when you talk to
Yeah.
them, like I spend time with people who you guys would probably consider, high bar socialists, left wing, blah blah
Hmm.
blah, and there are women on that, and that
I wouldn't. I
have no
wouldn't care.
problem. Yeah, but they have no problem with guys who are being guys or whatever, as long
Mhm.
as they're not being assholes. I mean, that is the asshole part that they don't like. So I don't know. It's just
Well, I agree, but that's the issue, that the silent majority gets drowned out by the vocal minority, thus pushing people to an opposite idea that makes a movement
no.
or a communication thing that would be massively helpful for them be pushed away.
yeah.
Right. There's a lot of on both sides where they
Yeah.
will see the other side and go, "That's what all men are like," or "That's what all women are
Mhm.
like," and they fall into that horrible thing. But
Correct. Yeah.
I don't know how to fix it other than for the rest of us just to say, "Hey, this is bullshit."
Well,
You
yeah, and a lot of differences you find out, like some of the women are dating like the same couple of guys. So they just keep passing around the same golden cock around and realizing like all guys are assholes. Well, you keep dating the same asshole guy.
Well, look, I used to date crazy women, right? I used to date these women who did not respect me, treated me
Well,
like,
we don't call them that anymore. We call them
I know. I'm just,
paladins players.
but I had to come to the conclusion myself that it was my problem because I was some weirdly attracted to that,
Yeah,
because it was feeling some need in my problem that I grew up with, a whole bunch of being bullied and everything else.
Mhm.
So it was like I was a combination of I deserve to be treated like that, and I'm going to try to fix them. So I had both of those things going on in my brain. So you can imagine some of the women I was dating.
God, right holes the early. I can fix her. You can't fix
Oh,
this.
hey,
You
trust
don't
me.
save her. She don't want to
You
be
know,
saved.
she's with all these horrible guys, and she's just with me, and I'll be able to treat her right. She'll be happy, and everything will be great, and she won't be crazy anymore. And blah blah blah. And it's like, no,
But I mean
that's not
that's
how it
also
works.
comes down to the admitting that there's an issue and fixing it.
Yeah,
But a lot of people aren't willing to admit that there's an issue. There's,
yeah.
but there's also there's a whole bunch of other things, because like the
It took
internet
me.
perpetuates like main character syndrome,
Oh yeah.
thus creating a vacuum of interest, because people are trying to make everything about themselves because they can, even though it has no connection to them, which is a thing. It's a massive thing.
Yeah.
Where I've literally there have been posts. There's somebody posts like they're cooking this meal, and them in the comments like, "How dare you cook that meal? I'm a vegetarian. You're disgusting."
Yeah.
Yeah, you think I'm exaggerating? That's real ass people who exist right now,
Mhm.
And
because
I
the
would say, get
internet
the
allows
fuck out
them
of
to.
my house. I mean, don't just put up with that bullshit. Is
Right. I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
I agree with you, but that's also what has been facilitated through being constantly and terminally online,
Mhm.
and basically being fed you're right all the time.
Yeah, getting gassed up. Yeah, right. And I should. We don't have time today. I could take you to some of the femcell boards and show the gassing
Oh
up that
gosh.
happens in the femcell boards. And it's outrageous. Some of the gassing up. There's so much gassing up. Elon Musk uses to actually get into orbit. Okay, all right.
Them selfies though. Them selfies
Oh,
though.
okay. They deleted the selfie thread. Okay.
CELL selfie.
Yeah, selfies.
The-
Anyways, we're gonna end this episode right here. Thank you, everyone. If you made it this far in the episode, this one could probably went for another like 2 hours. But no, I want to go to sleep. So thank you, everyone who made it this far of this episode. You are a true key holder to me. You could listen to anything else in the world. You could even watch an NCIS, but you decided to listen to this live, and I appreciate you and all those who left us on red and watching this later. We still love you. We record this episode. We do a live show 9 p.m. at Eastern Daylight Time. We do this, but Reinhold and I also started doing a political stream on Monday mornings at 5 a.m. EDT. If I wake up on time, usually I'm not up. We invite Vincent, but he doesn't wake up.
I got work.
He doesn't want to talk politics either.
I don't want to talk. You guys started at 5 o'clock. I'm going to bed at like 1. I'm like, nah. I'm good.
You're misunderstanding. He's trying to get up at 5 o'clock. I'm trying to get into bed at 5.
So, come join us in either show, depending on your cup of tea. We eventually create names into it. So maybe we'll just start calling this low key the Monday show, blank, and then the other one, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever.
Key politics.
Yeah, but you can find us on twitch.tv/We Are Libertarians. You can also get us on youtube.com/We Are Libertarians, and also follow us on Facebook on the We Are Libertarians Facebook page. So thank you, everybody, and have a good night. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, guys.